Mr. Fantino was asked the question, so I think we should let him answer it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. In actual fact, the hypocrisy of that statement, Mr. Jenko, is that from the period of time that your party was in power in 1993 to 2000.
Liberal. It's not a bad word. Liberal is a good word in Vaughan, Mr. Fantino.
Thank you for interrupting. Increased taxes 63 times to the tune of $59 billion. So when the Harper government came into power, they certainly had a huge burden to deal with.
They partnered with people like Mr. McGinty to bring in the HST and tax everything, including the necessities.
And they denied that there was a recession on top of that too, Mr.
63 times raising taxes right across the board to the tune of $59 billion. Thank you.
I think that Mr. Fantino has raised a very good point, and, you know, with the greatest of respect, Mr. Jenko, the Liberal government and the Conservative government, in my view, are actually doing the same thing. Mr. Fantino has indicated that the people of Vaughan want change, and I'm going to say this. The only way they're going to get change is if they will put their money on a wild card. I'm that wild card, and I would like to say this, that I will definitely be a watchdog, because I'll tell you right now, the Liberals and the Conservatives are tarred with the same brush. There's no difference with the way they do things. They both actually, if you look at what the Liberals are going, they're planning on paying down, the Conservatives are planning paying down the national debt in about 120 years, and the Liberals, it was 107 years. Well, we have a plan that'll do in 25 years from the party of Sir John A. Macdonald.
Not at all. You're completely wrong in that. The fact is the Liberal Party is the party of responsible financial, putting things in order. We're the ones at $13 billion deficit.
I'll tell you, Mr. Jenko, that,
I think you misunderstand
Mr. Fantino made a good job. He did a good job of pointing out. But, you know, the trouble is both you and Mr. Fantino are in the same boat.
Candidates, I think since we can't really hear the arguments going on, we'll wrap up this question now. We'll move on to the next one. And this question deals with residency. And we're going to start with Dorian Baxter of the Progressive Canadian Party. The question is, do you live in Vaughan? And do you think this is an important factor for MPs? And if you don't, why do you think the people of Vaughan should vote for you?
I think it's a very good question, and I thought about it a great deal before I ran. I live just a few minutes north of Vaughan in the town of Newmarket and can be down there very rapidly. But I also taught in Vaughan for 8 years, and I feel a connection. I have a number of students that I taught there with their families, and it was they also that encouraged me to run. One of the reasons that I'm running down in Vaughan right now is it's a by-election, and it's an opportunity for me to let people in Vaughan know that they can have a strong voice. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Mr. Harper calls a federal election in the spring. And I would say this to the people of Vaughan: give me an opportunity to show how I can represent you. I can tell you this, that if Vaughan gives me the honor of going to Ottawa, they will be all shook up in 6 months. And I will tell you this, if I am successful in getting in Vaughan, I will run again and represent you into perpetuity for as long as you allow. Thank you.
Julian Fantino, the Conservative Party.
Yes, thank you. My family and I have been in Vaughan since 1981. Have been involved intimately in the growth of the community, both as a volunteer, as a community activist, and most certainly in regards to allowing myself and my family the quality of life that we enjoy. But nonetheless, I've been involved as a professional person as well. I've dedicated a lot of my time, energy, and resources to achieving a greater quality of life for the community as a whole. I have worked on a number of projects as a volunteer in the community going back to the 80s. And I like to believe that living in the community is a critical aspect of the networking that one needs to do, the depth of involvement, and moreover, knowing the issues, historic issues as well, and I have that appreciation.
Thank you. Tony Jenko of the Liberal Party, please.
Yeah, I think living in the community that you are trying to represent is an important factor for consideration. It's certainly in the last 13 years, since my wife and I came back from Ottawa, we feel a strong closeness to the community, understanding of the issues, and if you're living in the community and you're experiencing it, it does help you appreciate the important roles. I think my combination of my community work, having now served as chair of the York Central Hospital Board that's bringing the hospital to Vaughan, combined with my work on the Vaughan Social Action Council, various task forces for the city of Vaughan, the Vaughan Public Libraries Board, previously on Heritage Vaughan. All these things are cumulative things that give you a sense of what the community needs, give you a sense of what day-to-day life is like in the community, and will assist you in representing the community. So that combination of that experience in the community combined with my particular experience in understanding the Ottawa community well will make me a strong representative that will get results for the people of Vaughan. Thank you.
Thank you. Claudia Rodriguez-Lorraine of the Green Party, please.
Absolutely. I think Sir John A. Macdonald ran in a riding that wasn't his, and certainly there's other great examples. We were talking about Sir John A. Macdonald, so I thought it would be good mentioning him. I think what matters is certainly your ties to the community, but I don't believe you necessarily need to live in the community. I've lived in Vaughan for close to 10 years, and I've done a lot of work with my two nonprofits. I'm also the CEO of the Green Party of Vaughan, and we have done a lot of great community integrated work. But certainly dignity for Vaughan is dignity for all Canadians. When you're a member of Parliament, you're representing the nation as a whole as well. So of course your constituency office would be in the riding association, and you would be working from the riding association, and certainly I believe that what matters most is how much you contribute to the community and how much, of course, you contribute to the dignity of all Canadians as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Independent candidate Leslie Borey, please.
Hello, thank you. I'm not from Vaughan. I live a couple hours out of Vaughan. I'm a Canadian citizen, and my nation's hurting bad right now. And this is where I can come to make a difference. I can help my people by giving them good leadership. I think you should lead your nation, or I think you should make an attempt anyway, if you think you know the way. And I believe I know the way, and that's why I'm here. Thanks.
Thank you. Paulo Fabrizio, the Libertarian Party, please.
Yes, I think it's very important. Being from Woodbridge originally, my wife and I met here. We brought up our kids here in Woodbridge. You have an understanding of what it takes to help the city of Vaughan out, and you have a better understanding of what's going on here in your city. So I think it's very important to be from the city where you're representing.
Oh, thank you. Brian Jardine of the United Party, please.
I think that living outside the riding doesn't exclude you from knowing what's going on in the riding, and I think that it's important for everyone to understand that we all know what's been going on in Vaughan for the past few years. It's been mired in controversy, and there just needs to be a change of the guard, whether it's provincial, federal, or municipal. We're seeing that now. It just happened with Mauricio Bevilacqua's homecoming. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I have friends and family that have worked in Vaughan for many, many years, and I have a great respect for the municipality. I was born, and the first house I ever lived in was in Woodbridge at the end of Kipling Avenue, north of 7, when it was nothing but a dead end and a bush lot. So I do have an affinity for the area, and I'd love to come back, and I'd love to represent the people, because there's a lot that needs to be done, and I'm the right guy to do it. All of these other candidates can say what they want. Mr. Jenko said that, well, it's only the Conservatives or the Liberals are the only alternative. Well, that's a crock. They're not. There are other people out there that can do the job.
Thank you very much. Candidates, I don't know if we're going to open this one up to open discussion. I think we've said everything here. We'll go, no, we're going to go on to the next question now, but thank you. Municipal councils in Vaughan have had a well-publicized history of not getting along, and that has affected voters' confidence in politicians in this area. Although there is a new mayor and several new council members, what do you think the new MP will be able to do for the city to help repair citizens' faith in government? And for this, we go to Julian Fantino, the Conservative Party.
Well, thank you. I'm very confident that Mauricio Bevilacqua will bring the kind of leadership that the community needs, and that the new council will, in fact, appreciate. I know he's committed to addressing a lot of the issues that have caused considerable grief and aggravation, and certainly that have caused the media to feast on the community. And I think very often erroneously, because the community is a great place, great people, and not everyone is causing difficulty, such as very often is reported. I do think that the new mayor has a good focus. He has great experience. He has very good connections in the community. I believe sincerely that he's a consensus builder. I believe he's a team builder. And I believe that other levels of government need to work with him to ensure that the community as a whole is well served, the people of Vaughan are well served. And I intend to do exactly that if I'm elected.
Thank you. Tony Jenko, Liberal Party, please.
As we unite as a Liberal Party in the community of Vaughan, we have a wonderful opportunity to work with all of the stakeholders at all levels of government to support each other. Yes, the reputation of Vaughan has recently been tarnished by an ineffectual municipal government. Nevertheless, I think that there's an important opportunity here, and we don't need any more command and control approaches to governance. We need leadership that's consensus-based and collaborative. One of the first things I would do when elected Member of Parliament for Vaughan is to have a meeting with former Liberal MP Mauricio Bevilacqua, now Mayor of Vaughan, Greg Cervera, the local MPP for Vaughan, as well as myself, to talk about the issues that we need, to create a vision for our community that we can all unite around and take our pieces of that vision federally, provincially, municipally, and get some results. And that will be the beginnings of the transformation of our reputation as a community. Thank you.
Claudia Rodriguez-Lorraine of the Green Party, please.
Thank you. Well, municipalities, they need stable and predictable funding, and the Green Party of Canada can offer that. We want to reform the tax system so that we can provide more funding to municipalities. We also have a great plan for municipal registered retirement savings plans. It's bonds that can be held in RSPs and self-directed RSPs. In February 2006 alone, Canadians bought $8 billion in mutual funds. Imagine if half of that was available in our municipalities to invest back in our communities. So certainly we believe in municipal super funds that we can generate $500 million of funds a year for our municipalities, and we have to work closely with funding for green technologies, green infrastructure.
We should keep on the topic.
Yes. So that's how the Green Party of Canada would help our municipality. Now, you talked specifically about the City Council in Vaughan, and Deb Schult, Regional Councillor. She is very green, and she believes in green technology and green infrastructure.
Thank you. Thank you. Independent candidate Leslie Borey, please.
I'd reduce the taxes that people pay, not the taxes, but the levels of government that they pay taxes to the number of that. I'd reduce it to the federal level, and I believe that you wouldn't have as much pork barreling going on in municipal levels if taxes came from the federal government. And I think that would help the community too. It'd save us all some tax dollars by not having people pay their friends at the local level. There's been a lot of instances where people have gotten contracts for jobs, big jobs, and somehow the initial estimate wasn't enough to finish the job. I think that when someone gives an estimate, it should be written in stone, and I think those companies should be responsible to do the work. I don't believe people want to have their tax dollars going to someone that hasn't done any work. That's how I improve the municipal situation. Thank you.
Okay, again, we're dealing with the reputation of Vaughan, and Paulo Fabrizio of the Libertarian Party, please.
Thank you. My family and I have lived in Vaughan most of our life, and for the past 10 years I've been attending City Hall regularly, and let me tell you, this new council that's coming in is probably the best I've ever seen, and together with the mayor, what can we say? Mauricio Bevilacqua is the reason why I'm here. He's the one person I look up to, and I think with him as a leader in the community, any one of us would be lucky to work with that guy. And right now, with Greg Cervera and Mauricio Bevilacqua and this great city council, it's the best that Vaughan has ever been in a long time. So plus any of us up here, it would just top the cake, and it's looking really good right now in Vaughan.
Thank you. Brian Jadan, sorry, and I of the United Party. That was my mistake the last time, Brian.
Well, of course, the first thing that we're going to do is book a meeting with Mr. Cervera, and we're going to book a meeting with Mr. Bevilacqua. That goes without saying. But if people really want their faith restored in government in Vaughan, the easiest thing you can do is not vote Conservative or Liberal and wind up getting the same thing that you continually get every time you step into the ballot box. It's like standing in the middle of the highway. If you stand on the yellow line, you're not going to get hit by a car. But the second you step left or right, you get hit by a bus. And that's been happening to citizens across Ontario and across Canada for far too long. Vote left, get hit by a truck. Vote right, get hit by a bus. It doesn't matter what you do. If you want to be represented in Vaughan, if you want your government to make sense, then head into the ballot box, vote for someone like me that isn't going to do what he's told by some grand master in Ottawa. He's going to vote in the manner that makes sense for the citizens. He's going to work with Mr. Bevilacqua and Mr. Cervera to make things right, not simply do as he's told.